SAFRE 2021. Got some of the guys back from the North Carolina State Firemen's Association with us. We had y'all on in 2 different groups yesterday. It was fun. We kept it kind of short. I don't think y'all guys really knew what was going on. Y'all were fishy. Y'all were like, what are these crazy dudes doing? That kind of stuff. So that was fun to watch that kind of progress and play out. I've got a few more questions. Before we do, if you didn't catch it live yesterday, I'll let y'all go around and introduce yourselves again and what regions you represent,
Yes.
and then kind of what you do there. And then I got a few questions for you.
All right, I'll start. I'm Stephen Robertson. I'm the Piedmont Director for the North Carolina State Firefighters Association, also the President of the Piedmont North Carolina Firefighters Association.
Cool. Mr. Doug.
My name is Doug Bissett, and y'all call me leaning in, didn't you? My bad. My name is Doug Bissett, and I am the incoming Eastern Director for the North Carolina State Firefighters Association. I'm the current Eastern Firefighter Association President.
My name's Todd McMurray, and I'm the President of the Western North Carolina Firefighters Association.
All right. Welcome. All right, so I guess I'll start with my fire hydrant of questions.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were talking, and we spoke a lot about the scholarships that y'all offer, a lot of the benefits that you provide to all of us guys who work the streets, all the firemen. A lot of things that we learned, we discussed after we left. We had no idea. Some of the services and benefits that y'all provide is provided to us for being members, or being a fireman in North Carolina automatically makes you a member. Correct? That is right.
That is correct. Yeah.
So it seems to me like education and communication is a bit of an issue. I'm not the only one who didn't know a lot about these benefits. So we gotta find a way to get better about communicating it out. So we're helping do that. We're live right now. We want to help. We want to help as much as we can to get the benefits to the people and let them know what they have.
Right.
One of the biggest questions I have is, how does one go from, say, my shoes in just riding the truck to progressing to be what y'all are? How does that process look?
So everybody that is on a roster with a fire department, whether it be Wilson or Polksville or New Hanover County, with the State Firefighter Association, automatically gives you membership to the region you lie within. So
Sure.
for y'all are members of the Eastern Firefighters, North Carolina Firefighter Association,
Sure.
just by having that membership on the State Firefighters Association.
Perfect.
And that makes you a member of both your region and the state.
And the state.
It used to be you had to pay for one and then the other, but now it's all one. So New Hanover County Fire Rescue is automatically in both ones. So you're automatically represented.
Perfect.
And one thing that I encourage, and I'm sure they do, that we encourage in our local area is, we have quarterly meetings. All of us do them in January, April, July, and October. And that's when you come to these meetings, and then you find out about your, smaller version of it. And then I think they were saying, and they have the challenge is like you said, we have counties way up west that we're so spread out. So we try our best to get that over social media.
Sure.
But to get you involved, like you said, when you come to the local meetings, then you can know kind of what we offer. And
How would one find out about their local meeting? Like, how would I know when the Eastern North Carolina Association is going to meet? How would I know that information?
I'm the Eastern president, so
it's your fault.
Yeah, that's right. I'm on that. I will take that. A lot of things have been my fault this week. My counterparts have made sure I knew that, but that's okay. Our next meeting is October the 7th. Generally, we meet on the second Thursday night of the first month of the quarter. So, like Todd said, January, April, July, October. We'll actually be in at Cape Fear Community. Well, we'll be at Wilmington Fire Department.
Sure.
On October the 7th. But we try to make a social media push. We all three have a social media presence. We have a website, but getting people to come to that arena is just unknown about. Just like some of the stuff we talked about yesterday, we all know an officer or a chief that is deserving of these awards that we're giving out every year, and there's we give out 4, they give out 4, and there's 12 awards between us, and we may give out 4, and it's just because it's solely because we don't get that push out there, and we're glad that we have people like y'all that are willing to help us get that message out there. But we're younger. We're a younger generation, and reaching them by the same old means is not happening. So
That's right.
We've got to kind of learn those things, and we're thankful for this opportunity for that reason.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and to kind of add on what he's saying, I mean, communication is going to be our struggle from here on out, and
Sure.
learning how to communicate with the different generations. Obviously, we blast out emails, but we found some success in the social media aspect of things, but also we developed an app. So
Nice.
the Piedmont Association has an app that we get the push notifications that
Here we go.
that people live for, because we're carrying the cell phone in our pocket, on our hip,
Sure.
everywhere we go.
Absolutely.
So we get a little pop-up that, hey, this is going on or that's going on. So we let them know that, hey, there's a scholarship opening now till a certain day. Hey, we're meeting in Pleasant Garden in Guilford County this time. So we have started to see a little bit of an uptick with participation through that form of communication. So for right now, that's working. There'll be a time where that dies off, and but hopefully even through this, maybe people will pick this up in the podcast and like, oh, that's pretty cool, because ultimately we want from the line firefighter to know what all is available to
Sure.
them and to their families. I mean, each region offers scholarships, but not necessarily to firefighters. It's maybe their kids, because we're not sitting here just we're not doing this for money.
Sure.
I mean, so we're working multiple jobs from every level of rank. So we're just trying to get everything that you mentioned before out to our members, and that's a lot of what the regional meetings are about, is just passing on all this information to the variety of people that attend.
I'm not sure if your wheels are turning on this or not, but maybe since it is a quarterly thing, we can stay in touch and then air it.
Should be a possibility.
That's impressive that you talked about that, because the East especially, I know, has talked specifically about how we can do that. Like, what kind of equipment do we need? Is Facebook Live our best option, or is Zoom, now that we're in the Zoom world? But their app is nice. But one thing I was sitting here thinking of when he was talking about that, and y'all are probably gonna laugh at this, but we rely, in my mind, heavily on an email blast that comes from Chris Wyatt. Well, I would hope that y'all are getting those emails from her on every little thing, but maybe you're not, because it all depends on how you're registered for the State Firefighters Association, what email, because my volunteer fire department is guilty of putting in a generic email address if we don't know one. So that email has probably been unsubscribed. So that we're guilty of not getting that message to our people.
Sure.
But there again, we're relying on email, and everybody's different. So like, if I have a notification on my phone, if it turns red, I got to clear it. But my wife's not like that, so she's got like 24,000 emails. It's really cool, but like, that drives me crazy. So maybe somewhere in that we're missing that. So developing that app was something we joked about it, but it's because they're ahead, and
It seems to me that the app would be something that would be offered on a state level, and since we're divided into regions based upon the state, that the state would kind of hold the app, and then as notifications of each region was coming out where their meetings were going to be, it would just all be in one app.
the state does have an app.
Okay.
The state
All
does
right.
have an app also.
See, learning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the background of the app is actually the website. So
Sure.
it drives everything through the website and
Sure.
stuff like that. But yeah, the North Carolina State Firefighter Association has an app as well.
Awesome.
So to your first question of how do you get into these shirts? Now we know they have that meeting once a quarter. So it's open? So
Yeah, it is very open.
Yeah.
We encourage people to start getting involved at a local level. So New Hanover County or an area may have a firefighters association. Get involved there, and then start coming to the Eastern meetings. You can come to the Eastern meetings before you get involved there, but kind of know. So if you think about it like a government situation, everybody has their own representative at the House, and then we have Senate representatives. So we're kind of that voice for those firefighter associations to come up through. So, we want to know that you're involved. We don't want to put somebody on who just wants to be on there to check a box in the resume. We want somebody that's actually going to be involved, because we do a lot of work to better, these things. I'll give you another benefit you may not know about, but, if you were to pass away in a non-line of duty death and your name's on that roster, so long as it weren't a couple of things, the state actually offers $25,000 as life insurance that a lot of people don't know they're getting.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
The scholarship things, if you didn't, some of these volunteers didn't have insurance. We have a pretty good insurance program through MetLife and Blue Cross through MetLife that is actually pretty good insurance. I know people that are on, but people don't understand. People just don't know it, and getting that information out is really comes from those regional meetings, and trying to get people involved. Chief McMurray and both of them have alluded to it, but we're broken down into 3 regions: Piedmont, East, and West. But in our region, in the East, we have Northeast, Central, and Southeast.
Sure.
So we're even subdivided in. Y'all have 3, 2, or 2.
We
right?
have the foothills, the mountains, and the Piedmont. Well, the foothills, the mountains, and the Piedmont down toward
Right.
where we go near.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then so we're all broke up into other groups, subsets, to try to get representation from every inch of the state. So
What did that decision look like? Like, you guys can flip a coin for who answers, but to decide, you know what, I want to step up and either apply for this position or get voted in. But what personally, is it a huge commitment? Was it like I have some extra time, because not many of us do? Like, what drove that decision?
I know for myself, it was, I had, when I started out in fire service, everybody's got mentors and stuff like that. And I had one mentor that he's like, I asked him, like, as I'm going through the fire service and wherever I may land, rank-wise, department-wise, so what's something I can do regardless of all that? He said, just get involved. And he talked about at the county level. Then the county level bled over to the regional level, and then the regional level has now bled over into getting involved at the state level. I come from a rural county that we need the state, the region, to get the information to us, because our departments don't have the means and the capabilities to make it to SAFRE or Midwinter or FRI or FDIC.
Sure.
The financial means isn't there. So, I try to be an advocate for our rural areas that can't be here, and make sure they have this information. Each board, whether it be the Chiefs Board or the State Firefighter Association Board, has 3 regional directors, and that is our job. Is my job right now for at least throughout the whole part is to represent the firefighters of North Carolina. But right now specifically, I make sure my Piedmont area is.
Sure.
Their needs and everything are represented, and we discuss at our board meetings, and some of that evolves into legislative actions or other events that may occur.
Do that 1 second.
Until it's noon, therefore it's time to give away 2 coolers. Give away 2 coolers at noon, 2 at 12:30.
that would be cool if they said, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Isn't that the president? Isn't he supposed to do the announcements?
Yeah, well, that's
Should've
Barry
You should have
Overman.
kept him in here.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's Barry Overman. You should get him. He's a lot of fun.
Sure.
You hear what he said?
Are we on
If you
pause
can't
right
walk
now?
fast,
Nah, we're still
follow
live.
really
It's
fast.
okay.
Go ahead.
One thing I was going to tell that we do a little bit different,
Yeah.
and a while ago I had said ours is a highlands, the mountains and the foothills, but what we do is when ours come, I think when they get appointed as their directors, they ascend through the chairs. And like me, I started 7 years ago as the foothills director, and I was elected out of like 7 counties that's in my region. And I'm from Cleveland County, so I go east towards Charlotte that way, And then, so what we do is I put my name, I say I want to run, and like we're coming up in October, we have our election, and you would tell the nominating committee, and they will present the candidates. So you have a certain time till September the 15th to tell them if you're interested. Well, they'll present you at the October meeting. You get a chance to talk. And then, now this is for our board.
Sure.
Now, like me, I'm the president this year, and I go off. So I have decided to run for our state election. Comes up every 3 years for our state. So I'm going to run in April for that position. So, and there'll be others, but so what I'll do, I don't have to when I go through, but instead of going straight up, we have an election in April, and then that will whoever appoints for our Western representative to
Okay.
the state board. And we'll have two. We'll have one for the chiefs and one for the state, the Firemen's Association. So that's a lot of what, like you were saying, getting involved. A lot of people, and I know that we work very hard at getting, because the sad part is you can be a part of it, but a lot of times if your leadership and not knocking, but they don't take it back. I noticed some people in my county that chiefs don't attend regularly. Guys will call and say, I heard this and I didn't know about it. Well, instead of taking it back, and that's why we encourage them to get on our website, not, go around authority, but at least get what's out there. Because a lot of times chief doesn't mean to, but they have things and they just forget to tell some people.
Busy.
And that happens a lot.
You're busy.
Yeah.
But what you were saying about getting involved,
Sure.
that's the way we do it at the West.
And really the
Very excited that he is not here.
fire chiefs today, especially from a volunteer's perspective, they are their value is undergiven. If you look at everything that a volunteer fire chief has to do, just from an administrative end, and for doing it for virtually up to really nothing, is so commendable. And they, like Todd mentioned, I mean, if they don't have this information, there's significant consequences could happen. I mean, from loss of benefits to, there's just a multitude of things. And so we really are trying to make sure that it gets back down to that local fire department of what all the fire chief needs to know, from a perspective to make sure their department's covered completely.
That's true too. Making sure those resources are there.
Yeah.
It's as my volunteer fire department, we had a death 5 years ago of a junior firefighter. Tragically died, and had I not been involved with the regional board, we probably would have missed out on. His family probably would have missed out on about $35,000 of a life insurance benefit that was we just happened to know about, and we submitted it, and it actually being involved and knowing about the memorial service that is done here at SAFRE, where they recognize the people who passed away that were on the roster, not just the line of duty deaths. That actually gave us some closure for his family, for our department. Because that is a reeling effect when somebody who's 16 years old tragically dies. But not only that, but the people in the East that supported us, or had gone through something similar, because we had a reach out because I was involved. But if I hadn't been involved, I would have, we would have been out there by ourselves. But just being involved, you would, we could open these curtains, and I've seen people walking by that are waving at us. We had some people come right here that looked in while you were talking that were laughing and carrying on. But the being able to reach out and call somebody, like I can call Chief McMurray and say, which I know he's recently retired, but I can say, hey, give me some advice on this, and he's going to tell me, right, wrong, or indifferent. Or calling Stephen, just being able to reach out and ask a question probably goes further than anything that we may get from being on this board, which is not anything. But that camaraderie and that even the friendly rivalry that we have here, I say the East is the best. Y'all would probably agree.
Absolutely.
They're not going to say that.
West.
See, and I know you're going to say something.
Right. West and West.
Right.
We just like visiting both of them,
But you
vacation,
understand,
both
yeah,
sides.
I got you.
That was a
One
good one.
thing-
I ain't heard about that. West is best.
Yeah. One thing is reacting to what he said or talking about. They don't realize, and I didn't realize this, and we used to have, and we didn't get to have it. COVID's put it behind. But when we have the midwinter, and that may be something at Concord, the Chiefs Conference, we used to have a summit, and that's how. We all got to know each other, but he was talking about helping out a couple years ago, and I think about it, it kind of sends chills when the East got hit with a real bad hurricane, and some of their guys got hit, and we had a meeting at the West and the Piedmont too, and I know, and we sent money. Our associations, and not just us, we had firemen calling us. And, and I'm not saying this to pat the East, the West or the Piedmont, but you can ask Doug, some of their members, it really helped them out in that they did, not saying, they was funds coming, but they needed some funds right then. And we sent a check, they sent checks, we had vendors, state sent checks, and, I and Doug can tell more, but, it went to individual, because they had firemen that was working at the fire stations and their houses were gone.
Yeah, and I will say, and I apologize for not bringing that up too, but that is something that is very
something meant a lot to the West,
and that is something that's very. And we the East have not had an opportunity because of COVID to return our thanks for that, but that is very true. And I will say that we gave out, I want to say it was $25,000. It was a pretty good amount of money to not a person didn't get $25,000, but
they split.
I think they got. I think some people got 20. We separated it out. Some people got $2,500 depending on the damage, and then some people got $1,000 or $500.
The Farmer Association actually helped hand that out as a need base.
And that was something we got enough to separate it all out, and everybody got something, except for one person who didn't have any damage. But everybody did get something. But then as soon as that money was handed out, we were talking about it at a meeting. Some people were like, "Well, I never knew about it." Well, I'm sorry, but I know that we had people who were extremely grateful that they helped us out.
Sure.
And even when they had the fires, we were sending people up. So it's not about, when you're on a regional association, it's not that we're specifically or solely concerned with the East. We're concerned with them too.
It's still the state,
right?
Yeah.
Because we're working. We're firefighters.
Sure.
We're firefighters. We're gonna help each other.
But things like this help for us to get to know each other and feel comfortable to say, "Hey, we need help," or "We need this," or "We need that."
Well, and really sitting here thinking from the regional aspect, the attendance, what that builds is a network. And then you talk, and then you realize the problem in Murphyo, the problem in Manio, and the problem in Raleigh are all the same thing. Maybe at a different level, different scale, but we're all dealing with some of the same issues. And somebody may have figured out something that worked, and maybe it worked. Maybe that'll work in Murphy too, or Manio, or wherever. So that's really what I take away is the network that I have built so far, and I hope to continue to build. It makes my job a little bit easier in little old Keene, North Carolina. It does, because I could reach out to Doug or Todd or multitude of other people about, hey man, I'm struggling right here. Help me. What have you run across this? And if they haven't, they know somebody may have. And that's, if we've got to rely on each other to really survive in this business. I mean, from the mental aspect to the physical aspect, we've got to rely on each other. And that's one thing that by me getting involved, I feel like my department and then my county has been able to progress and overcome some hurdles that if we were in our box, we would not be able to successfully do.
Sure.
That
So-
was one.
Go ahead, no.
I was just talking about, he was talking about me being retired. I worked at the city of Shelby for 32 and a half years and retired as assistant chief back in June, but I'm also a volunteer fire chief. And like they were saying earlier, it is a little different. When I worked at the city, I had all the resources. They sent me to all these things, and now I'm at a small department, run 185 calls a year. Love it. I've been there since 1985. But I've seen two different sides of it, and then talking. We're rural areas out in our state, but then we go to the Piedmont or go to the east or talk to them, and we got areas down here that people. We have a meeting like a couple of years ago. We had a meeting, and some people drove 3 hours. Well, our meetings are on Wednesday, the third Wednesday night. Well, if you meet at 6 o'clock, the meeting lasts till 8. Those guys not going, and then they got to get up and go to work the next morning. So you really try, and I'm sure they run in the east too. They, if you think about meeting at
5 hours.
Yeah, a long way. So, so that was a thing that I learned as when as the chief of the Pokeville Fire Department, a small volunteer department, is how do we get those guys involved, and how do we make it like and they do the same thing. We talk about, y'all talked about educational scholarships, but we also give scholarships, and I guess
Come
y'all
here.
went over to come here. So we sent a department the other year that had never been to a state association meeting or a conference, but we paid for it. You know,
Yeah.
the East did. I mean, the West did.
The East does that too.
And
I
well,
think we
all of
do
them
that.
do it. That's what I was
Yeah.
meaning. All of them do it.
Yeah.
But-
Have you noticed in this conversation and the last one we had with Kevin about the tools, the exchange of information, the helping each other out?
Right.
When I first got in the fire service, it seemed more protected. Like, there was
Territorial.
Yeah, very territorial. It's nice to feel the shift. It's just honorable. It's good to want to help. I like the competitive nature of the zones, but also like that the West is helping the East in that hurricane situation, and I like it. It sounds
Well,
good.
the thing about that I was proud of the West that time, it was it was like literally we were going to take the money down that night. I mean, that's how Barry, I think, was the president then, and he lives in Elizabeth City. And, it was just, we got to help them now. And we sent resources too.
Yeah.
But some people can't send resources. So, we had people sending us checks. We had vendors sending us checks to put in with that.
Yeah,
Was that Hurricane Florence?
yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the amount,
I mean, it wasn't millions, but it helped, I guess.
Yeah.
it was $1 million to us.
Yeah.
Because I got chills when you talked about it because we never really publicly thanked them because of COVID. But you just don't know that side of the brotherhood. We want people to get involved at that local level, and we want people on our Eastern boards. We need younger people. He said 1985, and I've been joking with these guys all week that I was born in 1984, so I'm obviously the youngest person on the
I'm
board.
old school then.
But we all come from a volunteer fire department, most of us, and so he's in Polkville, North Carolina, and I'm in Pinetown, which is we got 2 stations. We operate on $68,000 a year, and we got 9 trucks. And people are like, "How do you do that?" Because we fundraise. We cook. We have 2 barbecues a year. We do a
Selling
turkey
those
shoot.
plates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Do it 'cause you
roll
have
in
to.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Do it 'cause you have to.
yeah. We wish we didn't have to.
Yeah, you have
But
to.
we don't have no choice. But getting those people involved is very key to the success because we got 55,000 members of the North Carolina Firefighters Association, and probably less than maybe even a third is probably a career firefighter. So and that just is what it is. We got to protect those volunteers, and we got to do things to help those, but we need them to come up and help us too.
Sure.
And that's very key. It's still pretty cool.
Sure.
This board has, like I told you yesterday, it's completely humbling, and now you've seen why I say that, because we compete. Stephen probably wants me to tell you that in the Marriott over there, there's a Piedmont door on the elevators, Piedmont door, a Western door, and 2 State Firefighter Association doors, but there's not an Eastern door, right?
Yeah.
So I have a 6-year-old, and he's been walking around here, but he's eat up with the fire service, which is a great thing. But every time that Piedmont door's open, he goes, yes. It's embarrassing to me because East is the best, right?
I got you.
But he loves it because the East president's son's dying to ride on that Piedmont elevator. So that builds our competitiveness. But when it's time to help each other out, we're going to help each other out. And that all comes from that localized level of, y'all want to help the New Hanover people out. And then when you get involved, you realize, like, hey, we're all one. So now I got to help these people. And it goes a lot further, especially with our network. So I encourage y'all to come to the October meeting in Wilmington. And I would love for you to let me know if you want to come and do this from there, we can do it. But you would meet a lot more of our board members, and you would see that even though we're representing them as the presidents, we're kind of all going to have the same message. So,
Yeah, we're working on the details. We're going to see what we can do.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate you guys being generous with your time once again.
Well,
thank
thank
you
y'all,
for-
really.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
really,
it's
we
a
need
lot.
to thank
It's,
y'all a lot
yeah.
because this is a format that's up and coming. I mean, and it's a way to get the word out.
We're glad we can help.
It's our pleasure, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's continue this conversation throughout between now and October, and let's figure out a way that we can help spread this information. stuff that needs to
We-
get out and needs to be heard.
Well, I greatly appreciate that.
Thank y'all for answering my questions. I had a lot of them.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's
No,
okay.
you're good.
I think you got us to talk a lot more about it. But That's okay. You got to see the true side of the board.
That's
so.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nice.
Appreciate it,
Thank y'all
guys.
again. Thank y'all for
Appreciate
coming
you.
too.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.